Right, we're all set up here.
Yep, I am on mine. I've clapped on now.
No.
There's the introduction. Sync that shit. Done. Pokemon Go was a bona fide cultural phenomenon that resulted in more hours being spent wandering aimlessly around the woods than a cover shoot for a black metal album. Immediately successful, the game is notable for causing a spike in the value of companies that had nothing to do with Pokemon Go.
So yeah, Pokemon Go was just literally the biggest game to come out at the time.
Yeah, I think there's a tweet, I think it's like Nate Wants to Battle or something like that, says,
Yeah.
oh man, does anyone remember that like glorious 2-week period where Pokemon Go came out and the entire world was just at peace? Like, the closest humanity has ever come to achieving peace was the 2 weeks after Pokemon Go, and it was a massive worldwide phenomenon. And like people might not even know like how big of an impact Pokemon Go had, because it didn't just like, you know, make the company who made it, Niantic, which is owned in part by Nintendo, a lot of money, but we'll talk about that in a moment. It like resulted in increased business to virtually every form of business, like, you know, in the urbanized world, due to the sheer amount of foot traffic driven to major urban areas by Pokemon Go.
Companies that really benefited are those that are Pokestops.
Yes, but there are also some companies who didn't so much benefit as get annoyed by the fact they were Pokestops. I think one of my favourite stories is that a lot of fire services around the world ended up complaining because people playing Pokemon Go were calling 911 to ask if they could come inside the fire station because there were Pokemon inside. Because obviously fire stations were Pokestops because they're like, you know, areas of interest. And there were like actual genuine reports from firefighters going, yeah, people were just stood outside the fire station on their phones and we're trying to like go solve emergencies looking for Pokemon.
Yeah, I've experienced that. I looked outside my window when it first came into like just huge. Yeah. And there was just a kid just stood in my garden. I was like, yeah, that Shaun of the Dead moment.
Alarmingly, there's a girl in the garden.
Their behaviour. The emergency services have been overrun.
There's so many stories like that because like people who lived in like, you know, buildings that were like listed buildings that have been converted. Like, people just walking into my garden. People were just walking through my garden. This is really dangerous and annoying. And then there were like, you know, private government facilities that were also Pokestops that were also getting people wandering in like restricted areas.
Why did I just suddenly think of Area 51?
That's the one, because one of my favourite ideas that was floated was, do you know when they eventually released the legendaries?
Yeah.
You have to put the legendaries in areas of legend. Like, you need to put Mew Two needs to go in Area 51.
Oh, God.
It's the only thing you can do. There's so many people were just like wandering into areas they weren't supposed to, in addition to major public throughways.
So what do you mean when you say that it gave businesses who have nothing to do with Pokemon a big boost?
Well, the best example of that is just the businesses that were on the street, because, as I mentioned previously, like Pokemon Go resulted in just scores of people just wandering through major urban areas, and businesses that were Pokestops saw a notable uptick in business. And the important thing to note here is that Pokestops were chosen almost entirely at random. They were just like random areas of interest that popped up on Google Maps or whatever the fuck. And although I do think they had plans to start turning certain businesses into Pokestops so they could give away special Pokemon, which makes sense. But the sheer amount of foot traffic going through urban areas resulted in a trickle-down effect that impacted businesses that weren't Pokestops and saw like just a general uptick in business almost across the board in the business world, everywhere from bars, stores, museums, animal shelters. I think saw a boost because animal shelters were offering people a chance to like, you know, walk, like, you know, rescue dogs to help hatch eggs. And that's not even mention all the businesses who try to capitalise on the fact they were Pokestops to draw people in. My favourite being strip clubs, because strip clubs that were Pokestops would advertise that fact and people would go to the club to play Pokemon Go. And like that to me is just fucking amazing. Do you remember though when businesses started getting mad salty about it, like they weren't Pokestops, and were trying to petition to become a Pokestop, or businesses were dropping lures to lure people into, literally dropping lures to lure Pokemon ostensibly, but it would lure people in. But my favourite one was the business who went the other way. And like, I remember like, I was in Europe when Pokemon Go came out, and we walked past a coffee shop that had like a crudely drawn Pikachu outside it, just saying, no Pokemon Go here, just good coffee and conversation. I'm like, what a weirdly pretentious way to say you're not a pretentious shitty bar. Fuck you! So we went to the bar next door, I did have Pokestop. Yeah! And I caught my European Pidgey. I stopped playing the game when I realised you had no attachment to anything you caught.
Yeah.
Because, you grind it up and feed it to the next Pokemon you catch.
The moment I stopped was my mate came round to mine.
Okay.
And we got in the car and, you're going around, we kept pulling up places and trying to catch Pokemon. And then we pulled up and we were catching this Pokemon. And, I just looked out the window and they were just in infant school.
Pulled up outside the school, just like with your phone out, looking down at your... that's never a good look,
I just looked and went, I can't do this anymore.
The moment I went, okay, maybe this is going a bit too far, is when a friend of mine was at a house party and he bought a second phone and spoofed his GPS to pretend that he was at the beach so he could catch water Pokemon from his bedroom without leaving his house. And I went, the fucking point of the game is to go out and explore, and you have circumvented that. It's like, oh my god. My favourite though was big props to the person who did it, and hopefully there'll be a picture of it behind me because I don't know the exact title, but a week or 2 weeks after it came out, someone released a book just called How to Play Pokemon Go.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Fair play to that person for being the first one across the post, because that's the one everyone bought, and it was in WH Smith's and everything. Yeah. And they literally just copy-pasted off of forums all the advice you had for Pokemon Go, which underwent massive updates every week, so it was all out of date by the time it hit shelves. But I distinctly recall one chapter in it that just said, how to date playing Pokemon Go.
Oh no.
And it just said, this is a good idea. Maybe a good idea for a date would be walk around and catch Pokemon. But one of the lines, it says something like, don't be afraid to approach someone of the opposite sex playing Pokemon Go. It's like, no, absolutely do be afraid to. That's creepy and weird. Don't approach random people in the street. But anyway, let's move on from just random businesses that saw an uptick in sales and just foot traffic as a result of Pokemon Go. And let's talk about Nintendo, whose stock actually doubled following the release of Pokemon Go. But here's the thing, do you remember what I said about Pokemon Go at the very beginning of this video?
It slipped my mind.
It's part owned by Nintendo.
Yeah.
And Nintendo actually doesn't own the Pokemon brand. People think it does, and it's a common misconception that they do. Now, they own, I think, a 33% share in it, and they have an exclusive deal to license and publish games on their consoles. But whatever money Pokemon makes doesn't go to Nintendo. Nintendo only makes money from the Pokemon things they sell. Yeah. And the same can be said for Pokemon Go and Niantic. That was all Niantic and the Pokemon company made money from that. Nintendo just were able to use the branding. But investors didn't know that. And do you want to know what investors did? Because in a lot of people's mind, Pokemon equals Nintendo. Yeah. So you want to guess what investors did, and they saw the hottest shit in the world is Pokemon Go?
Well, they probably made that mistake of investing in Nintendo.
Yes, they did. And Nintendo, as I said, their stock price doubled in a week. And then after that happened, a Nintendo executive went out and just sheepishly said, we don't actually own Pokemon. So we've got nothing to do with it. And all the money Niantic is making stays theirs. It's got nothing to do with us. And when they said that, I think they wiped $1 billion off their stock price the next day.
Gone.
They still managed to make more money off it, but isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Just all the investors, they didn't even bother to Google search it. It's like, no, fuck it, throw money at Nintendo. Invest in Nintendo. It's like, but Nintendo don't invest in Nintendo. And just skittish investors immediately just took all their money back and said $1 billion off their market value overnight. They still came out tops because the rise they got and didn't was high enough to offset that loss, but holy shit does that crap me the fuck up. But we're not done yet because there are other companies this happened to. So moving away from Nintendo, which is sensible because Nintendo have got fuck all to do with Pokemon Go, do you want to hazard a guess at other businesses that may have seen an uptick in investment following the release of Pokemon Go? And I'll give you a clue. It has to do with the fact that you could never turn Pokemon Go off initially, and it just absolutely rinsed your battery.
Oh, it's got to be all the battery pack.
Yes, battery pack manufacturers also saw a huge uptick in investment in them because obviously people buying battery packs en masse, investors and speculators, they saw this, they invested in them. Do you know what makes it even more beautiful? Just like the Nintendo investment, business analyst says, well, yes, this is a good idea because they're being bought a lot. The technology is still in its infancy, and a lot of these companies are just new startups. Because this is a new thing that's just unavailable. And new startups usually run at a loss for the first few years. So all this money's going to do is just go into a company that's going to make a loss anyway. So all that money was wasted. Rather, just invest in Niantic. Just Google who made it and give them money.
When you mentioned battery packs, it just made me think, we went to Alton Towers, the theme park, when this was huge.
When Pokemon Go was
And my friend took a battery pack with him. he had it in his pocket, and we went on the Smiler, which is the most record loops.
Yeah, 14 inversions, I believe they use, so they have to say loop the loops.
And as we're going round the first one, I just hear this bang, and my mate go, ah! So I was like, what's up? And he's there, his battery pack had come out of his pocket and just flown off. It like exploded.
Did not some large dick hero just grab it out of the air? Like that guy went viral a few weeks ago.
With the phone.
So, Mobile, someone was filming a selfie.
Maru man Samuel Kempf and his brother Jesse were on a roller coaster in Spain.
Most people go to when you're on the rides though. People getting on the ride, try to catch a Pokemon. Like Rita, Queen of Speed. There's only one way to catch a Pidgeotto, and that's to go on Rita and catch up with it. Catch up with the Aerodactyl, it's going too fast. I still remember though where they had to implement a system where if you were travelling too fast you couldn't catch Pokemon because so many people were using it in their cars.
Yeah, to like hatch their eggs. Oh, just drive. Just drive to a mate's
People
house.
driving around in a circle on Pokemon Go. It reminds me a lot of a great tweet I saw where I stopped believing in technology, where I left my Fitbit on and I burnt 18,000 calories jogging down the motorway at 60 mile an hour. So fucking hell. But like we're not quite done yet because there is one more business that saw a boon to its profits as a direct result of Pokemon Go, and it's one that people probably should have invested in because it's one that actually turned a profit. And do you want to know what that business was?
Go on, I'm not going to guess.
It was stores selling Pokemon-themed cakes.
Oh.
Who just noted that after Pokemon Go, they could not sell those things fast enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is a lesson for the future. Right? Next time there's a big thing, don't invest in the thing, invest in the people making cakes of the thing. So since we've been talking about Pokemon Go, you must have a Pokemon Go related story to tell because everybody does. That game was everywhere.
When me and Nisha went to Wollaton Park, which is Batman's home.
Okay.
Yeah, the
the huge, big stately home they use for all the films.
Yeah, we were just walking around, a bit of a mosey on, and then I noticed that there was a gym in literally the middle of the woods. I was like, Nisha, come on.
We've got to go to this gym.
So we just walked through these woods, and I claimed this gym for like I forget the red team now. I can't even remember what they were called. I was walking off like I got carpets under my arms, like
just doing like the bars that go. Oi.
And then literally as we got back to like the park, I looked and the gym was yellow, and I'm like,
no.
Aw.
Oh man. Well, the thing is, what ruined that game for me was obviously the lack of gameplay for Saturn. But it was also the same thing that ruins a lot of games for a lot of people. I feel, and that is people taking it too seriously.
Yeah.
Where I thought it was just a little bit of fun. So I've got a little Pidgey. It was within days, people had min-maxed the shit out of it and grinded out. Oh, they've already got Pidgeottos.
Yeah.
How do I beat these people? And it's like there's already someone sat on a fucking every gym in the area with a Gyarados that is impossible to beat. It's like, oh, cool. So now it's just no fun for anyone.
Yeah, there just comes a point.
Because you have no fucking life and you've been spoofing your GPS location to go into the middle of the ocean to catch Pokemon.
Near us in Sheffield, there's a park called Western Park, and that literally gets a bit of footfall at best. And I remember going there one day, and it was for Harambe's wake. When everyone lit a candle for Harambe.
Why was I not invited?
Oh, it was amazing. But we went, and literally everyone was there. Everyone's having a can, raising a can to Harambe. And then there was just this old bloke sat on a bench, just like, what the fuck?
Tutting. God, kids to death. Look at them having fun and rallying around something silly for a shared sense of camaraderie. God, why can't they be like me and just go and watch Countdown on their own?
But it was just the fact that everyone was so sad for Harambe, and it was, wait, there's a Pidgey! And then everyone just stopped caring about Harambe.
Do you know what, though? It's what Harambe would have wanted.